the outer boundaries of New Deal labor law. And this would really remain a hallmark of Yale unionism for the rest of the century and into our own time. From the growth of the union to dining hall workers who joined in 1955, to clerical workers in the 1980s, to graduate student employees in the 1990s, and to the hospital workers. Now, although the union grew with the dynamism of a CIO, in the early 50s it became an independent union. And perhaps as such, it was able to maintain its militance in an era when many larger unions settled into more bureaucratic routines of collective bargaining. And maybe some of the folks who are around, or older folks, can fill in the politics of that story for us. But you know, despite not being a profit-driven corporation, at least at that time, in the 1950s, Yale became no more reconciled to its union, it seemed, than a company like General Electric. So in 1956, the union sought out affiliation with HERE, the Hotel and Restaurant Employees Union. Now, HERE was a union that came out of a different tradition, the craft or occupational unions of the American Federation of Labor. And often in kind of labor history, they're cast as sort of the retrograde unions of the 19th century, whereas the CIO were the progressive unions of the New Deal era. But the AFL had a really long, strong history of organizing people in quite creative ways and organizing in non-industrial workplaces. And so, in fact, it was perfect union to bring in here because they had to figure out strategies of working outside of the NLRB, of organizing people who were in small workplaces and locations who weren't, 100,000 people on a shop floor in a factory. And they had a history of organizing women. Not that this wasn't contentious at times, but HERE brought in a new phase of the union.